Hey guys, happy Thursday. I hope this week is treating you well and that Mercury retrograde is treating you well. I know I said I wouldn't be doing a video next week because of Thanksgiving, but I think I'm gonna take a break from long format videos until at least the new year because I have so many birthdays and the holidays coming up that I don't know if I'll have the time. But anyway, going on from that, I had a reading like a couple days ago where the person like wanted to follow their dreams, but they had talked to another psychic who had told them, "Oh, I don't know if you can with the confidence you have." And which I think's real messed up. So I just kind of want to talk about following the dreams and give you my experience following my dreams because I think it's something everyone should do. If the need is there for you, like if you feel it in your heart, follow your heart. Always follow your heart, you know? Um Especially like cuz there's so many like with that psychic, there's so many people just ready to tell you not to do it that you have to kind of be the one to say, "No, I'm doing this." So I guess I will start with my experiences. So my whole life I knew I wanted to be a writer. Uh, Ever since I was like real little, I used to like have these journals. Like I specifically remember a kitten journal where I couldn't write, so I'd draw pictures to illustrate the story and sit there and make my poor mom give me all the letters to spell it out. I remember like sitting very vividly at my stool because I had to have a stool to get to the counter at my grandpa's house and doing it. It was about my dad playing with blocks. But yeah, my whole life I had this intense want to be a writer. And even when I did my past life regression, if you go back to the video on that, I mentioned how I did a past life regression where it told me I need to write in this life because I was a writer in a past life. And honestly, all that didn't matter. I even took creative writing in college. I took it twice because I loved it so much. And I really think that might be the only important reason I went to college. If I'm going to be honest, like it was all for those two classes. I like to not think that, but honestly, the rest really, I had to take college algebra like 7 times. But anyway, I'm getting off topic. So I knew I wanted to write, but I was always real like unsure like what I was like. I wanted to write stories. I knew I wanted to write fiction novels, but I kept getting in my own way until like 2019 when I finally like one November sat down and wrote a whole novel and let it sit on the shelf for 5 years. And then it was last year like I the last few years had been rough, but last year it like really hit. Like everything was falling apart. My didn't know I was going, and I think that is such a common theme. Like the tower moment is when you're gonna have this big immersion, this big life change, because it was life changing for me. That it gets kind of bad. It gets real bad. And it's one of those things you got to remember. Things happen for you, not to you. And you got to believe that everything works out for you for the better or in the best possible way. Because it was definitely like I was in like deep seated depression and stuff. And it was definitely like feeling like I needed to kill off that part of my life, and let it die. But my like human body got like transferred it into a different message, if you get what I'm saying. So it was real deep depression. And then like suddenly it was like, no, let me just do what I want to do, because there was a lot of external people and factors going on, and I was like, push them aside. What do I want to do? And I knew I wanted to write. And the reason I'm bringing it up is because I did not pick that book off that shelf immediately that I had written. I instead wrote articles, and I had wrote articles before for On Stellar, and then like I fell off. But I started writing for Medium and some other writing platforms, thinking maybe this is it. because at the same time, I also kind of wanted to be talking about psychic because I knew there was something there. A story I was supposed to get out. And so I was writing there, and then eventually I published a poetry book because I was like, let's just get this out of the way. Let's do it. Until finally publishing my novel. And it was like such a big, I'm not gonna lie, it's not, it hasn't sold 100 copies yet. But it's a big thing for me, you know, like to feel that. And like it's been read in like Japan and Germany and France, because I can see that. So that's like really cool to know that, and to know that it was within me all along. And, you know, just that feeling of having it in the middle of this, because I went and saw Jen. I mentioned her quite a bit because she's one of my best friends. She does the cardio astrology, and she happened to look at my chart and said, oh, have you ever considered writing it? And I was like, I got a whole novel just sitting on my shelf waiting to have something done with it. And so when I came back to her and I was like, oh, I published my book, she's like, have you ever considered doing anything with your mediumship? And she said that looking at my chart, but she had had a spirit when I was sitting there talking to her in her kitchen, come through and like have like me tell her what was going on. And it was weird. Thank God she's such a cool, wonderful person, because anyone else might have kicked me out of their house at that point. But she was like looking at my chart. She's like, you need to do something with your mediumship. And I was kind of like, I don't know what. And I'm not going to lie. It's like I said, my screen name's The Reluctant Seer, because I kind of do this reluctantly. Like, I really enjoy, you know, talking about my spirit experiences and what my spirit guides say. And, you know, I have had people reach out and say it's been helpful to them and whatnot, which is like, I have so much gratitude for that there, because it keeps me going. Because sometimes, like, it's hard to put this stuff raw on the internet, and especially some of the comments, like, it's rough. But anyway, continuing on. And I'm sorry all these videos always come off as real crazy, because I can never I talk in circles. But I went and saw her, and she's like, do something with your mediumship. And of course, like with the writing, I had to do stepping stones. Like, I really didn't do stepping stones with this. So like, I was like reading tarot to myself and whatnot, and you know, occasionally when they come through, I talk to other people, and it took them straight up telling me, no, this is what you're going to do. Cause I was pushing it up. I was like, maybe like 10, 15 years from now. But, you know, as I mentioned, my spirit guides told me to get on here and to record, and it has been a blessing and a dream. Like I said, I get people coming to tell me how it's helped them and stuff. And it's been real cathartic for me. So, you know, I lost my train of thought. Like, it's not lost. It's like, I'm not sure where to go from here. But yeah, so that's how I fall in my dreams. And it's so rocky and stuff. And I feel like that's an important thing to mention about it, is it's not been linear. There's been like zigzags, doing stuff here to find the voice, but never giving up on the dream. And as well as just kind of going with it, you know, because there's so many options. You just have to be willing to figure out, like, just take the first step. Taking the first step is all what's important, and then the next one will appear, and then the next one, you know, or maybe it looks different, you know, because obviously I did not think I'd be on like social media talking about this at all. So this is definitely a zag from what I thought it would be, whereas my writing, like, I zagged a bunch of ways to get to where I believed I wanted to be. And, you know, it's so amazing. Like, I got on my desk my books, you know, this is my poetry book. It's not very good, but It was my stepping stone. And you should have those stepping stones. And you shouldn't let people get you down. And there will be a lot of people who are gonna be there and be like, maybe you shouldn't do this. I don't think you should do this. You know, they'll give you a lot of reasons. They'll really get you down. I'm gonna be honest. My book, my dad bought a copy. My older sister bought a copy, that makes my heart sore because she's my half sister. And that's not important, but we grew up so far apart. So anytime like we support each other, it just lifts my heart because my other half sister does not care for me. And my little brother wouldn't buy a book and my older brother wouldn't buy a book, you know? And there's a lot of there's a lot of other people. Like I said, my book's been read in all different countries. But I think we've all noticed, like, you're going to find support in ways you never knew it, but you got to take that first step. It's going to come, you know, from unlikely sources, because as I mentioned, we are all, you know, sources mouthpiece. So you're going to have strangers come up and do it, but usually it's not the people close to you. And some of them, it's their own insecurity. Some of them, they think they're wishing you well. So I think that's about it, guys. I'm so sorry. These are always so crazy. But, you know, follow your dreams. I believe in you. I believe in you. I think you've got this. Do what makes you happy and go follow those amazing dreams, because you are an amazing person and you're meant to do amazing things.